Alright everyone, let's review basic squats. Squats are one of the most important exercises a human being can do to strengthen what nature gave us, this incredible power in our lower body, while maintaining an open and able to see and able to breathe upper body sitting on top of that powerful, mobile lower body. So enjoy your squats, everybody, and here are the key things you need to keep in mind for them. First, you always want your feet wider than shoulder width on your squats, and you want to find a way to start your squat with the slightest of knee bends. When your knees are bent and you open up your chest and you just feel the slightest of burn and engagement in your quadricep, that's the start of our squat in Mindful Moves. Already, there are a lot of different decisions and choices that you have to make. So feel the gentle burn you invite just by a slight bend in the knees. On top of this, tucking the tailbone shifts the spine and also potentially brings the weight back towards the heels. So with a tucked tailbone also, just begin the squat. We could say that this is squat position number 1, just the slightest bend. That's your first option. Whenever we get into any sort of squat work, this is your first option as a possible exercise to engage in at that time. You can just stay here. I'm doing serious work even right now, just with the slight bend in my knees, and if you're following along, I'm sure you are too. Squat level 2 drops the degree a few inches here. We maintain the open chest, we maintain the relaxed shoulders, we are just getting some fire going through the quads, but here's the number 1 key with your squats. Your weight is not forward, it's not on your toes, your weight is back towards your heels. Again, your weight is not forward, it's back towards your toes. Oops. Your weight is not forward, it's back towards your heels. So feel that in position 2 of our squat. Huge burn. You're holding your core solid on top of this huge burn in your lower body. Upper body remains relaxed. Go ahead and straighten the knees and come out of it for a sec. Shake out the legs, shake out the quads. The quadricep muscle group, all those muscles hanging around the femur bone, shake them out. And let's get back at it. Again, feet wider than shoulder width, toes point straight ahead, although a little bit of an opening in the toes and the angle of the feet is not the end of the world. For some hips, that might feel more comfortable, especially when we get a little bit lower down. But ideally, we don't want the toes opening too much, and in fact, we really would like to keep our big toes and the inside of our foot on a straight line like we're standing on railroad tracks. So we're coming down into position 3. This is almost 90 degrees. This is the bottom of a lot of people's squats. This is a great place to get to, very intense. Never let that squat get over the toes. Our weight's always back. You can even see that my toes can come off the floor. My knees feel very comfortable here. My chest stays open. And come on up if you're following along. So that's a deep squat. That's nearly a 90-degree angle squat, or we could say it's around 90 degrees. And then the 4th level is just any time you're going below at 90 or below. So that's when your butt is actually dropping beneath your knees. If you do this kind of squat, which is actually very popular in some weightlifting practices, you bring your butt all the way down to drive. They're basically the same principles. You want to keep your chest open. Rather than just bending the knees, which puts all the work on the knees, you want to see how you can drop into the hips. actually bending in the hips, getting the butt down while keeping the spine straight. So the most important thing here is, this is number one, you can always choose a very slight bend in the knees to just bring these muscles online, and pay very close attention to where you're putting your weight, the back of the foot or the front, how the knees feel bearing the load. You can also take it to a 2, which is kind of an in-between step where you're definitely doing some serious work, but you could potentially hang out here a good 30, 45, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 3 minutes even. You could hang out here a while. That burn is bearable, I believe you'd agree. And then you can drop it down to around 90. And this is where we touch. A lot of times when we're doing our squats in the practice in the courses, our butt drops down to 90 and comes back up. Of course, if your knees can handle it and you're practiced with it, it is more work to bring your butt below 90. You're just giving more work to the muscles involved in the squat when you bring your butt below 90, but that's really going to challenge a lot of these joints, not to mention the muscles. So unless you have a lot of experience, I would say stick with 90 at most. Getting this kind of 90-degree bend, and that's the challenge. You do want to fall backward, otherwise you bring your knees over, and we really don't want that. So a great way to practice is actually with a wall or some sort of support. Keeping the weight back, knees never going over the toes. How low can you go while it feels safe and strong in the joints, good for the muscles, everybody's happy, and that's our squat, everybody. Enjoy yours. Now we're practicing our ground game in Mindful Moves, our ability to sit and our ability to work both the lower back and the core, the lower abdomen, to hold ourselves upright and well. So a few things here. First, to make the ground a comfortable and an easy place for you to exercise, you have to get used to some props. So I'll give you some of my favorites. This is my number one. This is my staff that's originally a mop, but actually does such a terrific job for me on a lot of different levels. And, I take care of a lot of muscle issues, working it out, and also just kind of looking pretty cool until I hit myself with it. But it's also good for balance and holding yourself, having that extra support in any exercise. That's one of mine. You also want many good pillows. You might as well have a bunch of really nice pillows. That's what they're made for. Get yourself a nice fat one. A nice juicy, colorful fat one. It could be gray if that's your thing. But make it fat and you want to sit right there. And then, maybe you want to go bonus. If you have a floor like this or a nice carpet, a yoga mat, nice plush yoga mat, it's kind of nice just to sit. It feels nice to put your feet on the ground. If the ground that you put your feet on is not so nice, that's not a nice experience. So you got a few different options there. You can get some nice soft flooring or do this sort of exercise in a place that has it. You can also use pillows for the feet and get your whole body soft and supported. There are, of course, much bigger pillows you could get. You can also use these kind of pillows as props under the knees, because that's another big issue with sitting cross-legged, is just getting the hips to be okay with all of that stretch that's normally not a part of our way of life. So look at that. I am sitting pretty here, folks, and you could be too if you had 3 nice pillows and a reincarnated mop stick that helps you remember how to breathe. So find some nice tools, some nice assets for your practice, everybody. Incense is always nice, but the better the view, of course, the more inspiring, potentially, a location for you to practice. These are all good things to consider as far as making a zone in your home or somewhere where you plug in your batteries, your mind-body batteries reconnect. And it's just as much as possible 360 degrees, or maybe it's 180, maybe you only got 90 degrees, you know? You got this angle right here. That's a good chunk of space. You could definitely have this much nice stuff to invite you into a state of enhanced awareness, relaxation, intercommunication, connection, clarity, power, purpose, peace. So enjoy designing your space and supporting your practice so we can have even more fun in our training. Alright everyone, let's talk about the next core exercise and break down how we can work on it and empower the critical muscle groups involved step by step at exactly the place that we're at, where our body's at now, and build our way, build our strength by adjusting and modifying the positions. So this next circuit is the dragon circuit, and it's all of the exercises working the abs and the back in this movement between here and here. So the first one is the basic one that we can work on, and that's get a pillow under your butt. If it's not yet easy and comfortable and strong for you to hold yourself upright with relaxed shoulders and open hips, a relaxed and comfortable chest, if you can't stick around here without finding yourself tensing up and losing focus on the breath, if the body still needs a little bit of support, and I still need a little bit of support. I want support. I want the relief from my joints, from my lower back. I'm not always in max conditioning mode. Sometimes I just want to sit really comfortably and still work these muscle groups. So enjoy a pillow, a fat one, a nice comfy one. It's also better if it's bigger because we're going to be moving with it. So that's the first thing. And let's try out this position here with the open chest and the straight back. Now I got my lower back working pretty hard here to keep the shoulders relaxed and drop down. My abs can relax a little bit, my shoulders can relax, my neck can relax as my lower back works very hard. My shoulder blades and my chest can relax. So that's one side of this dragon work, the strength of the lower back to let the rest of the body relax. The second part is when the work moves to the front side. So let's practice. We do a whole bunch of ab work through this course, core work, but especially all of this stuff targeting the front side of the body, these abs, this wall of muscle. And we know that there are multiple layers of that muscle too. And the muscle responds differently to different types of work. So for example, go ahead and, if you want to follow along, this is position 1 for any of the different dragon exercises. Whenever we're doing something involving this work on the abdomen, position 1 is always an option. It's heels down, shoulders low, hands under the knees or thighs, under the hamstrings, and leaning back to find your ab work. Engage those muscles. Decide exactly how much work you want to give them. See how you can relax other areas and yet still take on a ton of work here. Here we got level 1, the base camp level of our ab work, and that is basically just controlling it, keeping the heels down, adjusting it, giving it exactly the amount of work to the abs that we want to give. Level 2, we take the heels just barely off, and I'm leaning back enough, rolling the weight back. We're getting more towards the sacrum here. I'm still doing a ton of work in my abs, but the weight of my upper body actually helps lift my legs. So get used to that sort of feeling, that getting your legs off the ground, if you connect the upper and lower body well through the abs, they can come off with relative ease. Relative. And in level 3, we're coming back, and still we're supporting ourselves on the sacrum, but the feet start coming up to knee height. Again, I'm putting my hands here for support, but in any of these levels you can go with support and without. You get a tiny bit, you can give yourself a tiny bit of support just with the hands, and that may be all you need to actually stick with the pose. You can also give no support and concentrate entirely on the muscle groups involved, but as little work still as possible. Finally, level 4 is any exercise where we see our feet getting above the height of the knees. So whether you're doing a high bicycle or pointing or just extending, you're at a level 4 when you're over the height of the knees. So any of these boat poses, and remember in level 4 again, to keep the shoulders low, again try to do as little work as possible. Find the most efficient way to hold the legs up high. Feel how it can be almost relaxing to hang out here. And then lift up your chest, and it gets much harder for 3, 2, that's level 4. And that's all, folks. Well done. Enjoy your ab work. Choose the level that makes sense to you. Number 1 is always a possibility. Sometimes, literally, at least a third of the time. I like to start right here. Heels down. Whatever the work is, if it's side to side, if it's up and back, if it's just holding, rather than being here, this gives us time to make all of the connections. Where do I need to work, and where can I consciously fire? In other words, relieve of employment. Eliminate occupation. There's no work, there's no effort. Here, all the jobs come down south. All the jobs come to the core. So you can always do the great work of building a powerful center at any of these angles. Use them responsibly and enjoy yourself, everyone. Enjoy your core. And the last of our circuits that we're going to explore how we can modify and still get the maximum work out of our bodies and yet do so in a way that's sustainable, safe, and strengthening rather than, injurious or dangerous or hurtful or unsustainable or painful. And we're talking about push-ups. So the basic rule with push-ups is a lot of work being done on the wrists. So the more you can do to warm up your wrists, we go over a little bit of this in the Mindful Moves Essential 12, opening and warming joints, how important that is. Stretching the wrists, pulling back, rotations are probably the best thing, both directions. And shaking is actually extremely beneficial for releasing muscle tension. And just recognizing increased blood flow, increasing awareness actually help you make better decisions with these kind of weak links. They're pretty strong, they're pretty amazing, they got us pretty far, but when you're starting push-ups after not doing them, then you have to take care of your wrists. Your elbows tend to be a little bit stronger, and we'll go over how far we're bending them. Basically, you have the option of going down to 90 degrees. This is our level 4. A little bit higher than that. This is level 3. Bending just a little bit, that's 2. And then just barely bending, or not really bending much at all. That's 1. So almost straight, bending a little, bending pretty deep, bending at 90 degrees or below. That's our range. Let's take a look at it from the side. Another critical thing with push-ups is that we have a choice as far as how much weight we want our wrists to bear. So let's start practicing a push-up with knees under the hips. Now, with push-ups you have the choice of narrow push-ups, which work more of the triceps, the pecs. Pecs are working pretty much all the time regardless, the chest muscles. Or a wider push-up where you're engaging more of your shoulders to get the push-up done. But let's go ahead and cross the ankles, and with a wide push-up, let's go down to a 1 where we just bend the elbow a tiny bit. And then let's go down to a 2 where you're actually really bending. And then let's go down to a 3, which is 45 degrees or so. And then let's go down to a 4, which is 90 degrees or below. And then 4, 3, 2, 1. That's our range. And now, with my butt, I'm determining how much weight I'm doing those bends, those degrees, those angular changes with. So if my butt is further back, it's an easier push-up. Try to bend now. 1, 2. Make sure your knees are comfortable and supported. That's extremely important. 3, 4. A lot easier to get down when your weight's back. Now bring your weight forward, your butt forward, and let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. And of course, if you're up to it, all the way back. Let's get the feet to the width of the hands, and let's start with the butt a little higher than the shoulders. And let's bring it back a little bit. You can bring it forward, your shoulders are directly over your wrists. You bring it back, less weight on your wrists. So this is how we set up for our high push-up. We haven't done a lot to warm up the wrists, but see how they feel. And then this is our 1, this is our 2, this is our 3, this is our 4, this is our 3, our 2, our 1, and those are push-ups, everyone. That's how you can both take care of the wrists before and after practice, as well as adjust the amount of weight and work involved in your push-ups so that you can still go to your edge and keep pushing it and do it safely and sustainably so you can do it for a long time. Also, if even at this point, with reducing the amount of weight and warming up and strengthening the wrists, you're still worried about them, there are still plenty of options. The first option is fists. If you're comfortable with using your fists, you just wrap your fingers around and then wrap your thumb around your fingers, and this flat surface becomes our surface that we use to push on. And the benefit is, because the wrist is straight, we don't experience any of that irritation and inflammation that comes from all of the pressure here. Instead, it's much stronger and much better dispersed. So you can try all of that on your fists. You can also, of course, use any sort of push-up bars that help you. And finally, you could even do the push-up part of our class with weights lying on your back. So you have virtually no strain on the wrists, and just with some hand weights, 5, 10, 15, 20, you pick the weight, with a lot of control, you can do the workouts with us. If you're dealing with issues with the wrists, this is absolutely a support and a modification you should try. So that's how we get the most out of our tiger practice, our practice with the pecs, the ability to push our strength to arrive and occupy our bodies. So I wish you the best in taking care of your joints, your muscles, finding your edge, discovering the tiger that you have inside of you, and good luck on your adventure, everyone, and I hope to see you down the road someday soon. Thank you so much.